All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the final for the LO206 Legends class, and this is taking place at race 3 of the 2025 OVKA karting season. If you saw my pre-final video, I finished 5th, so therefore I'm starting in 5th place in the final. Got the 223 and the 29 right behind me, and I have the 5 right next to me. Up in front, got the 34. This is the first time he had raced with us this season, but he's raced at the OVKA and this track in, I think, different classes in previous seasons. So he's not unfamiliar with the track. And I also have the 16 making his routine appearance in the pole position with the 86 right next to him. And then the 84, who I finished right behind in the pre-final. So we're getting the wave around for one more attempt at the start. In this race, I am driving my Kart Republic. Still in my very first video of the season, I was in my old Ricciardo kart, and the second race was in this Kart Republic, and now I'm back in it. It's originally a chassis designed for a 2-stroke motor, I believe, which have more horsepower than the 4-stroke one that I'm driving on it right now. So chassis-wise, I believe it's a little beefier than if you were to buy a chassis that was specifically designed for LO206 racing. So I don't like the inside so much on the starts. I like the outside because you get a really good run around the outside. So the 5 was able to get past me, and that puts me into 6th place heading around turn 4. We're going into the bus stop, which you saw in the pre-final. Not my favorite turn. I don't have a lot of practice, but I did get a little better at it as the day wore on. So as you can see, the first 4 positions are starting to gap the 5 and I a little bit. And if I want to try to stick with the 84, I need to get by the 5, but he's doing a good job of putting a little distance on me. And I think I was struggling with tire pressures a little bit on this race. But being the final, I think I had them narrowed down to about where I thought they needed to be. So I'm starting to get a good run. I can tell that I'm gaining, and I might have a good shot coming out of this corner to get around him. And I do. I go ahead and take it. I know he doesn't really see me, but I know I can jump that curb right there, so it's not a big deal. So I jumped it. He gave me the room to get past him because we did approach that fast corner side by side. But if you're getting past and the guy's on the inside and you are on the outside, a lot of times you will do just what the 5 did right there. But I'm going to keep the camera facing backwards for a little while. I think we're going to get the No Reason 360 right here, or soon. Maybe right here. I don't know. It's coming up, but I still haven't mastered this software. But I'm getting a little better at it. Look at the 223. Thought he was going to make the move right there, but he had to shut her down going into that high-speed corner, and he fell back in line. And I'm starting to put a little gap on the 5. So I'm going to flip around to the front. I'm trying to catch up with the 84. Obviously, he's the next kart in line. The 34 and the 86 are battling out for 2nd place. They're going to stay together for the majority of this race. And the 16 he's just a part of the supporting cast in this video right here. He's got a brief appearance at the beginning, but then he just drives off the front, and we don't see much of him for the remainder of the race. He just turns into a speck in the distance. But right now I'm mostly in no man's land. I'm in the middle by myself. I think I had about a second and a half to a 1.5 to 1.7 second gap behind the 84 once I got around the 5, or within a lap or 2 of getting past the 5, and it kind of stayed there for a while. So I'm just trying to bite into that. You know, you're looking ahead, you're wondering, is that space getting closer? You can't tell for sure. I'm also keeping an eye on my Micron. I've got the Micron 5S, and I've got my like predictive dots. I don't know if I have them set to 0.2 seconds per green dot or if it's 0.1 second. I know one of them I have 0.2 on them. I have two go-karts. I've got two Microns. So I don't remember for sure, but you know, I'm always keeping an eye out to see if I keep it in the green. I know I'm doing a little better than, and I can't remember if it's based off my fastest lap or my last lap. I think it's off the fastest lap, but I need to double check my settings on it. But I will assume that anything in the green is good as I'm going around and I'm trying. You know, if I get about halfway through the lap and I've got two green dots on the top, I know I'm doing good, and it's not a good point to mess things up. So, you know, my concentration is always elevated, but it gets really elevated if I see that I've got the two greens on there. One thing that's still, I don't know if they addressed this on the new Micron 6s, but I don't even know. My Micron might have been goofed up. I can't remember for sure, because if you do, our out lap is just one lap around that inner oval right there on the left. So if you only do one and you start on the first go around, your Micron will, it will not, I don't believe, log that as a lap. So when you come around after your first lap, it sets the first lap time, so you have a good comparison for your predicted timing. But if you have to go around a second time and you don't slow it way down, you set like it sets your fastest lap time at like 25 seconds or something like that, and on this layout you're finishing in the 40s. So it just compares everything to a 25-second lap, which, you know, really messes up the predictive function of the Micron. Now you can still see what your lap times are, and you know, it's not rocket science math. You can generally remember about what you did the laps before. I know if I look down and I see a good number, I'll remember it and I'll compare as the race goes on. But it's still nice to have the green predictive lights working on the top of your Micron, because sometimes you'll be driving around, you'll have like 2 or 3 greens if the lap time is screwed up, and then once you get 25 seconds into the lap, all the dots turn red, and then you have no idea how well you're doing for the second half of the lap. Now, if you don't know anything about a Micron, what I just talked about may not make a single bit of sense, but for Micron users out there, it is a problem. I had somebody suggest, oh, just set your lap minimums, you know, make it so that when you're on this configuration, it doesn't even log a lap unless you hit a minimum of like, let's just say 41 or 42 seconds. Well, that sounded great, and I thought it would work, but when you start clicking through all the buttons on the Micron 5S, there's no function for that, unless there's just some strange workaround that I don't know or I'm not aware of. There just isn't a way for me to do that right now. So this is just what it looks like to be Sunday cruising right here on the go-kart track. I'm just kind of chilling. We'll go back to up in front of me now. As we started, this is a 14-lap race. We have probably already passed the halfway point. I wasn't watching for the flag on the video. But as you can see, my distance to the 84 is a little bit closer. Like I said, he had about a 1.5, 1.6 second gap on me, and he held it for a little while. But when we started getting down to like, lap 9 or 10, I started biting into it a little bit. And I think by the end of the race, I was able to put about a little over 2-second gap on the 5, but he has gapped everybody behind him. He doesn't have anybody behind him either. So for the 3 of us, the 84, myself, and the 5, we're driving around in no man's land trying to catch up with each other. But I'm realizing through some of these corners, I'm picking up distance on the 84. And when I looked back through the results, you know, you can look lap by lap. There was about 3 or 4 laps in a row where I bit off about 2 to 4 tenths of a second. So in about 3 or 4 laps, I took a chunk out. So now I'm kind of getting a little hyped. I'm like, maybe I can catch up to the 84. His kart is fast. He always has good straightaway speed, so, you know, barring an error coming out of these corners, he's going to generally have the power to, you know, drag me down to the next corner. I mentioned, I think there's only one other race this season where we go through the bus stop back here, which I give that 2 thumbs up. Although I am getting, like I mentioned, a little bit better. You know, I raced 2 classes this day, so I got double the laps in, so it was good practice for me. But I think I'm really going to close up right through here. He hung that right tire out on the rumble strips a little bit, and I think he shaved off just a little bit of speed. I went through it pretty good, and now I'm up to him for the most part. And you could just some aggressive braking, and you'll be on the back of him going into, you know, one of these corners. And I wasn't paying attention, so I was looking at the 84 as we went past the flag stand. So I'm not sure what lap we're on right now, but we are definitely close to the end. I think we were probably we might be coming up to the white flag. We'll see here in just a second. But again, hey, like I mentioned in my other video, look at how beautiful the sky looks out there. This Insta360 X4 just looks really good. Heck, we might even be coming to the checkers right here, but no white flag. So, you know, I'm about as close as I need to be to try to do something. But for the most part, I'm really just going to have to try to, like, oh, that's right, I try to give it a go right here. But like I said, he's got straightaway power, and he just wasn't, I wasn't able to get around him. I got up to him, and then must have run out of gear, and he was able to hold me off. And then I think I got too close right through there, and I had to, I wasn't looking at my foot, but I recall having to not go through it as hard as I wanted to, because I was pretty sure I was going to hit him. And if I hit him, that's going to just really kill my momentum. So I was trying to just stay off of him and then give it more gas on the exit. But it did not work, and the 84 successfully holds me off. He keeps 4th position. I keep 5th position. And the number 5 comes in 6th. I can't remember. I believe the only, out of the top 6, only 2 positions got flipped. The 34 who started in 3rd position ended up getting 2nd, and the 86 who started in second position got 3rd place. So we're all rolling off, and it was a good fun race to be had right there. The next race will be on the short track configuration. I've already run it. I'm a little behind on the schedule, so I'm going to try to get that video out soon. So have a good one, everybody.